And Indiana has done it. Their first ever Commissioner's Cup championship, knocking off the Minnesota Lynx. This is Howard setting up McDonald, knocking down the tray. Finds a cutting McDonald, easy deuce.
You won't believe what just went down with the Indiana Fever. Missing their brightest star, Caitlin Clark, left hanging by veteran Dana Bonner, and going up against the WNBA's most dominant squad, all signs pointed to a crushing defeat. The Minnesota Lynx, led by MVP frontrunner Napheesa Collier, were expected to stroll to the Commissioner's Cup title, but the Fever flipped the script. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard came together for a performance packed with heart, grit, and pure will. It left fans and critics stunned. What unfolded in that game just changed the entire perception of this Fever team. And after the final buzzer, Caitlin Clark's 6 powerful words summed it all up. If you ride with the Fever, drop a comment. I've got the Fever. Let's go. Picture this, the Indiana Fever stepping into the Target Center for their very first Commissioner's Cup final, with their roster barely holding together. Caitlin Clark, their sophomore superstar who had been carrying them all season, was sidelined for the 3rd straight game, still nursing a stubborn groin injury. And this wasn't just any player missing. This was their top scorer, their playmaking engine, the face of the franchise, the reason arenas nationwide were packed to the rafters.
With Caitlin and her status, just how did she look? How did she feel today during shoot-around? And is she making progress and getting closer to playing?
She's making progress. She's making progress. You know, I think, again, top of mind, I think I told you this afternoon, is just long-term. You know, making sure that we don't have any setbacks. You know, making progress and feeling good are 2 different things. And we want to make sure that she feels good. We want to make sure that she's confident. We want to make sure that we're not putting her in a position to have any setbacks. And that's the priority right now.
But that wasn't the only challenge the Fever were facing. Damaris Dantas was thousands of miles away, competing in the FIBA AmeriCup, leaving yet another gaping hole in their already thin rotation.
Listo. Hey, Fever, good luck. I miss you.
Then came the DeWanna Bonner situation that stunned everyone. This was a veteran the Fever brought in during the offseason to provide experience and leadership. And what did she do? She walked away from the team after just 9 games and ended up getting waived. It was the ultimate betrayal, abandoning your teammates right when they needed you the most.
DeWanna Bonner was brought in for leadership. She was brought in for leadership. And do you want to know all that these young players learned from her? If things don't go your way, refuse to show up. Continue to get paid a max contract while you are sitting out, refusing to play.
She got benched. She couldn't handle it. I want out. She's not playing well. She's getting criticized. I want out.
Now let's talk about who the Fever were up against. The Minnesota Lynx weren't just good, they were dominant. Coming into the game with a 14-1 record, they were the top team in the entire WNBA. Defending Commissioner's Cup champions, home court advantage, an MVP frontrunner in Napheesa Collier leading the charge. The sold-out crowd at Target Center was buzzing, fully expecting a repeat championship. Vegas had the Lynx favored by 14 points, 14. The basketball world had already written Indiana's obituary before the game even tipped off. Analysts predicted a blowout, insisting the Fever had no business sharing the floor with Minnesota, especially without their stars.
They look pretty flawless, you know, in the way that they're playing. And I don't know if different is the word as much as they look even more connected. You know, they're a team that was connected a year ago, but really the nuance of having each other's back on the defensive end, of knowing where your teammate's going to be, you know, discipline to coverages, the connectivity that they have on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, the way that they move with and without the ball, the way that the ball moves makes it really tough to cover. You know, I often say that offense is like a dance, and they are flowing, man. They are making music, and there's no doubt about it. So we have to try to be disruptive, and we have to try to take them out of that rhythm.
Here's where things got truly brutal for the Fever. This was supposed to be their moment, their first ever Commissioner's Cup final appearance in franchise history, and yet everything that could go wrong did. The players left standing knew the spotlight was blazing. Every critic was just waiting for them to crumble under the pressure. The Fever walked into that game like David facing Goliath. Except this time David's slingshot was broken, and half his army had already walked off the battlefield. Here's where it got really ugly. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever looked like a completely different team. They had dropped 3 of their last 5 games heading into the Commissioner's Cup final, often blowing double-digit leads that should have been routine wins. Their offensive tempo slowed to a crawl, killing the rhythm that made them so dangerous all season. Ball movement vanished, players started forcing shots and playing hero ball instead of trusting the system. You could see it unraveling in real time. No extra passes, no trust, just isolation plays and desperation. This wasn't the Fever team fans had fallen in love with.
Coach, this is your first season with this batch of players, and so I'm just wondering if the Commissioner's Cup is just a stepping stone for greater things to come.
Well, I hope so. But at the same time, we want to take care of business now, right? We want to win a cup. So we're not looking at it necessarily as a stepping stone. We're looking at it as an opportunity to win. And then we're looking at it, as coaches, as an opportunity to continue to stack days. We haven't had a lot of consistency in our lineup, and so we haven't really built that camaraderie and connectedness that we need in order for us to be successful. But we can take another step towards growth. Another step towards consistency on the floor, in execution, in energy level. We're playing the best team in the league right now, and we've got to come out and we got to play our A game.
Let's talk about Aaliyah Boston. She's one of the Fever's most reliable weapons, but she wasn't getting the touches she needed to control the paint. Boston is at her best when she gets the ball in her spots, yet her teammates weren't feeding her. Time and again, she'd establish strong position down low, call for the ball, and watch as the guards launched contested perimeter shots instead. Her frustration was written all over her face. The team's identity seemed to unravel without their floor general. Caitlin Clark wasn't just scoring and dishing out assists, she was the one orchestrating the offense, keeping the ball moving, keeping everyone involved. Without her, the Fever looked disorganized and directionless. And opposing teams noticed. They adjusted their game plans, locking in on Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, knowing they didn't have to worry about Clark slicing through their defenses.
What are some of the keys that you see as to how exactly you're going to do that, or what you guys need to do to approach the game successfully?
Yeah, I think we've got to be disruptive. We've got to make sure that we play with a level of physicality that doesn't allow them to just pass the ball around where everywhere that they want to pass it. So we've got to make sure that we're disruptive. We got to make sure that we're elite at our on-ball screen defense. This is a team that reads really well, that moves really well. We got to be elite at the point of attack on on-ball screen defense. We always talk about guarding our yard, being able to guard one-on-one so we're not in rotation early. I think for us, it's going to have to start on the defensive end of the floor, so that allows us to get out and run in transition as well. But we can't allow them to just do exactly what they want to do on the offensive end.
Anyone else? Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
This Commissioner's Cup game turned into a defining moment for the entire roster. Could they find a way to win without their best player on the floor? Could they reclaim the ball movement, chemistry, and unity that had made them such a threat all season? The weight of those questions hung heavy, but that struggle is exactly what made what happened next nothing short of incredible.
Head coach Stephanie White has a motto. She says, pressure is a privilege. You came into the former champion's house and took them down on their home floor. How does it feel to bring Indiana their first championship?
It feels great. We knew that we had to come in here with energy. We know that they're a great team and they were going to go on runs. And so for us, it was about containing those runs and then going on our own.
What happened next will give you chills. The Indiana Fever chose to take control of their own destiny. From the opening tip, you could see it. The fire in their eyes, the shift in energy. This wasn't the same hesitant team that had stumbled without Caitlin Clark. They came out with purpose, intensity, and unity, playing like they had something to prove. Every pass, every hustle play, every bucket, it all felt like a statement. They were going to win this one for their injured superstar, no matter what.
What gave you the confidence to come in here and take down this team on their home floor?
We knew we were capable. God has equipped us. And so for us, about coming here and doing what we know what to do, I think the entire game, coach just continued to instill that confidence, continue to tell us, take it one possession at a time. And we did that.
The game plan was obviously to wall off the paint against you and Tosh, but both of you guys finished with double-doubles. How did you guys get freed up? And for you especially, how'd you get going late in this game?
I mean, it started with Tosh. Tosh, that entire first half and even that entire game, just really took it to them, made them have to guard. And so with her attacking from different angles, they had to space out a little bit. And that fourth quarter, I was able to score.
And finally, Aaliyah, what are you going to do with your prize money?
That's for me at Bell.
Congratulations, lady.
Kelsey Mitchell rose to the occasion and completely took over when the moment demanded it. Right from the first quarter, she attacked the basket with purpose, putting her offensive skills on full display against the Lynx. She fought through defenders to get open looks from beyond the arc, knocking down threes at a blistering 41% clip. Her quick release became a weapon. Minnesota simply couldn't contain. And the best part? She wasn't forcing shots, she was just locked in, playing her game at the absolute highest level.
Corrals it out to Cunningham in the corner, got the three. Indiana on top.
But here's where things got really exciting. Aaliyah Boston finally started getting the ball where she thrives, and once she did, she dominated just like everyone knew she could. She put up a huge double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. Going head-to-head with all-star Nafisa Collier, Boston held her own and then some. You could see her confidence grow with every touch, every rebound, every smart decision. After the game, she stepped up as a leader, saying, "Everyone is important. I think everyone really played their role. We really handled that fourth quarter." And then there was Natasha Howard, who completely flipped the game on its head. She delivered an MVP-level performance that no one saw coming, finishing with 16 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals to take home Commissioner's Cup MVP honors.
Howard finds a cutting McDonald, easy deuce.
Beautiful read by Natasha Howard. And Ari McDonald, that opened up the three-point shot.
Howard to steal. Open floor in front of her, got the lay. Indiana battling.
This crowd is quiet. Natasha Howard is a former Defensive Player of the Year, knows the ball is coming to Nafisa Collier, just gets that deflection, gets going in the open court, and it is all Indiana in terms of the momentum in this game right now. This building is quiet.
And then she went a perfect 8 for 8 from the free throw line, showing absolute ice in her veins when the pressure was highest. But it wasn't just her offense. Natasha Howard's defensive intensity was a game changer. She took on the challenge of guarding Nafisa Collier, forcing her into difficult looks and racking up 5 turnovers. Howard's presence on both ends of the floor was nothing short of dominant, stepping up exactly when the Fever needed her most.
It was a team effort tonight, but with 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists, your MVP is Natasha Howard.
Sophie Cunningham brought exactly the kind of fire the Fever needed off the bench. She delivered a crucial spark with 13 points and 7 rebounds, including 3 clutch three-pointers that helped erase an early deficit. Her energy was infectious, her timing perfect, and her confidence undeniable. Every big shot she hit sent the crowd into a frenzy. Cunningham's performance lit a fire under the team and had fans on their feet.
Gives it up to Mitchell. Mitchell. Over to Cunningham, long range, bottoms. Big time trifecta, Sophie Cunningham.
Lexi Hall stepped up in a big way, making it clear she belonged on this stage. She wasn't about to let this opportunity pass her by. And new signing Ari McDonald wasted no time making her presence felt, dropping 12 points and injecting the exact energy the team was missing. Her return to the roster couldn't have come at a better moment, providing a perfectly timed spark that helped power the Fever's unforgettable performance.
Finds Hall beyond the arc, it's score! Holson with the trifecta.
And that's how you do it.
Over to Cunningham, long range, bottoms!
A joint effort across the board. Everyone on this roster did their part tonight.
The team suddenly found their rhythm again, moving the ball, playing together, and trusting each other. 5 players finished in double figures, showcasing a balanced and unselfish attack. The ball movement was sharp and the defense locked in. They held the Minnesota Lynx to just 39 points over the final 3 quarters and limited them to a cold 34.9% shooting from the field. The energy in the Target Center shifted when the Lynx made a push, cutting the lead to 7 early in the 4th and forcing a Fever timeout. But Indiana came out of that break with ice-cold focus. Boston scored twice, McDonald added another bucket, and just like that, the door slammed shut. They didn't just hold off Minnesota, they shut them down. The final minutes revealed a team with a true killer instinct, closing out a 74-59 win that stunned the entire basketball world. The underdogs pulled off the impossible, proving that grit, unity, and heart can beat the odds. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement that changes everything.
Coming into this, you talked about so much, hey, you got to have the right approach, don't trick this off, like have the focus. Take me inside that mindset of you guys coming into this game and how tonight was just a collective effort that got it done.
I describe this entire experience as a gut check experience, and I mean that intentionally. I mean physically, mentally, psychologically, it was a gut check moment today, and I think for us, it was about making sure we won those moments that mattered. And I thought down the stretch of the game, we did an unbelievable job of just staying together, weathering the storm, and kind of utilizing what we needed to based on our schemes and our personnel from practice. And I thought down the stretch of the game specifically, we bought in. All 5 of us, whoever was on the floor bought in, and I think you guys got to see that.
Guys, I just know everybody in the league is
I know it's not a WNBA championship, but to celebrate a championship nonetheless on Target Center on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we have a resilient group. You know, they're tough mentally, physically. They pull for one another. You know, I don't know if it's something that I learned that I didn't already know. It's just I'm proud for them that they can see it come to fruition. Being able to handle the ebbs and flows of the game, being able to give to one another regardless of struggles. I mean, we had some players that were struggling. We had some moments where we struggled, but we still gave to one another. And that's a growth area for our team. I felt like our execution through 3 quarters on both ends of the floor was really good against an outstanding team. I mean, I'm just really proud of this group.